combined total of over 12 hours of epic, jaw-dropping Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay are out in the wild right now. We have zero idea how long it'll be alive for. I have no idea if it's even still alive right now. But after the premium scenes got leaked, everyone knew what was coming next. Now let's combine legit everything we know, 12 hours of leaked gameplay, trailers, quotes, the whole freak show you could say, to explain this entire game. Don't worry, if you want to avoid spoilers, I'll have like a spoiler tag in the top right when we're going over anything that might be kind of spoilery, so you can skip ahead if you just want to know about some juicy game mechanics. So the 3 different life paths aren't an hour long. They're pretty short little stories actually. But of course now, if you enjoy this video at any point, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily top quality content from your pal Flicks here. Alright, so I kind of just smudged that in the middle. The corporal life path is the shortest of all 3 life paths, about 20 hours long, if that. We've seen the entire corporal life path pretty much already play out. I might edit it together to kind of show you what it is, but trying to put it together. So the room full of people getting fried back from the first E3 trailer, that's the Space Commission that didn't listen to Arasaka, so Jenkins does his job and fries them. Then his boss, Abernathy, gets pissed because the cover-up is going to be so expensive. I asked you to handle it, not cause another massive problem. So then he's like, okay, this is going to be an issue for me, so it's going to be an issue for you, V. So he tasks you, the character, with taking out Abernathy and gives you a decent bit of cash. You go meet with Jackie, who's your childhood friend or something, I guess, because you need someone you can trust to help you actually take out Abernathy. And he's like, nope bro, I don't want to do this, that's too far, this is literally a hit job. So when Jackie refuses to actually go through with it and take out Abernathy because he sees it as pretty much just a hit job and he doesn't really want any part in it, 2 like Arasaka agents show up working for Abernathy, and they want the shard that Jenkins gave you with all the information collected about Abernathy, probably to use it against Jenkins or to authorize a hit against Jenkins, who knows. And what they do later is they actually disable your cyberware because you don't want to give it to them. And when they disable your cyberware, they're like, okay, you know what, we might get paid even more if we actually offer you right here and now. And they're about to, like, okay, come here. And then Jackie was just like sitting there in the corner the entire time, waiting, just watching. But then when they say they're gonna offer you, he steps up, like he puffs off his chest, walks up to the agents. He's like, nope, we're not having any of that. So they're like, okay, job's done. They just walk away, and now your cyberware is useless. You're like barely breathing because all your corporate cyberware is gone. You're pretty much nothing. So after that, you start working with Jackie for some time, and then you actually move forward to the point where the story takes place. A lot of the gameplay they've shown doesn't happen exactly the same in the game. That's very important to stress. There's some things that are more scripted than they seemed in the gameplay footage that was shown. You can straight up loot everything not nailed down right after you finish your life path, by the way. The best way to understand the story, because we're jumping all over the place with this, but that's kind of it. It's like, it's only like short little things to say about looting, because I've made so many videos about it. So best way to understand the story is to understand you're not playing yourself, you're playing the story of V. Just like in The Witcher 3, you are playing Geralt. It's pretty much the same thing here. You do make choices that change things, but how the things branch is more similar to The Witcher 3 than the insane branching path some people thought it was going to have, or were hoping it was going to have. You could say it's nothing revolutionary in RPG choice or branching routes. It's just an RPG with branching routes. The prologue is very linear with a specific string of events that have to happen no matter what. I'll talk about those events later with a spoil tag like in the top left, but for right now, I guess the most important thing to understand is there are a specific string of events that have to happen. The open world environment is actually pretty similar to GTA, with a living urban city. Depending on where you are in the map, the districts, they look and feel different. Like the ghettos look and feel like ghettos. The city centers look and feel like corporate centers. Watson feels like a war zone, obviously. Speaking of Watson, there's a very good reason for NPC density, which I'll get to later on. It's actually explained in-game, which I don't know if they went through and retconned it because they couldn't do enough, they couldn't, like, the last gen consoles couldn't have enough crowds. Is that why they did it? I'm not sure. So when it comes to selling items, it's exactly like Fallout 4, where you can trade your items for another item rather than just your eddies. And you have to confirm trades. The quests have danger levels rather than level requirements to them, like the version the press originally played. Because when the press played it, there were actually level requirements for well, not really level requirements, recommended levels for each quest. Now there's a danger level for every single quest. Some of them seemed a lot more dangerous than I would have thought they were. I don't recall if the main quest had danger levels though, but I know every single side quest, which you got bombarded with after the prologue was finished. Like, I'm telling you, you had like 20 or 30 quests you could do right off the bat after the prologue finished. Which is funny because I said in my previous vids that so much of the stuff I said ended up being true. I legit said that they might add in danger levels, saying something like hard or easy for each to distinguish the quest instead of levels, and that's exactly what happened. Bro, my brain just thinks gaming 101. This is probably the perfect game for me, just because everything, like the way I think, is exactly the way the devs seem to think. So one of the main issues was always NPC density. All the footage they've publicly shown is in Watson. And here's the thing, you know why? Watson's under lockdown pretty much in-game. The mayor has lost control of the city. Arasaka can't go in. He wants them to go in, but he also can't let them go in because it's an election season and he loses. The election actually plays a pretty big role in the side quests, I guess you could say. Because Arasaka, he pretty much wants to mobilize Arasaka into Watson. They want to mobilize also, but that's just it can't work because he might lose the elections. He's like, I want to do this, but I can't. It'll make me look bad. So pretty much things got out of hands with tons of different factions vying for control. Watson's just not safe in game anymore. So yeah. So, everything about the Cyberpunk lore is largely wrong by Cyberpunk 2077. I'll touch up on that in a spoiler way later. The prologue is 4 to 6 hours, though. That was actually right from what the press told you. That's because the prologue doesn't end at the Arasaka heist. There's maybe another 30, 40 minutes, an hour after that, which blends into the mid-game plot, really. It kind of transitions you pretty smoothly from what is the prologue goal to what is the mid-game goal. Which the story of Cyberpunk 2077 is very short, maybe 25 hours at the longest if you just focus on the story, which is funny. I actually wrote this before the reviews came out saying it was like 20 hours, so I guess I was like 5 hours wrong, to be honest with you, but hey, I was pretty close. But a lot of the game is building relationships with characters by helping them that will play a role later on in the main quest, a very large role actually. The game has some of the most epic set scenes in gaming history. The game will push you to play the way they want you, which was the real issue. Games always try to push you a certain way and how you want to play the game. It always happens, even in RPGs, especially in RPGs actually. So the game does push you to play the way they want you to tell the narrative they want you to, but they do it in a really, really good way. They do it by actually pulling at people's heartstrings so well that even I gotta be like, dude, you did such a good job there. So you get even the most heartless person, which is myself, feeling bad for a lot of the characters in Night City. Like, a lot of these characters I've just been destroyed because of circumstances they couldn't really control. Actually, it's definitely a cruel, unforgiving world in Night City. They've really nailed that point. But at the same time, it's very obvious when a character is going to die in Cyberpunk 2077. If you listen to the music, it starts giving the character story, a lot of his sad beats, and then it plays sad music right before, and then you're like, okay, this character is a goner. So I think the music kind of ruined that in a little bit, because every time you're hearing sad music, that character's about to die in like 30 minutes or something. I think we should touch up on combat real quick before I get straight into spoilers. I'm going to touch up on it later in my gameplay info vid a bit more, but yeah, there's very, very severe bullet sponges that take an entire clip to take down on hard. You don't want to play on hard. There's sorry, I just woke up. There's special enemies which are net runners pretty much. What they do is they long range hack you and do a variety of hacks, and you could get unlucky if there's so many net runs they keep spamming overheat on you. You're on fire 24/7. But it does get better That's all I want to touch up on it, because I wasn't planning to do a combat vid right after this, so I wrote a lot more which I'm using for that actual vid. So stay tuned for that in a couple hours. Double upload today, just saying. I didn't see any suppressors actually, which I would have expected that to be like a mod, especially with how sneaking works. So I'm not really sure about that. That really caught me off guard. I was like, huh? Why is there no suppressors? I've already made a vid about romances and looting, which you can check out. I'm not going to go over that again just because it'll be too long. I'm just trying to like give you I know we're jumping around topics so much in this video. I'm just trying to give you like the entire feel of the game after 12 hours, you could say, of like pure watching, because no one else can talk about it for another day but me. Yeah, I can talk about it because I'm not under anything. So yeah, I guess let's open up with a bit of light spoilers. The immortality chip isn't one-of-a-kind cyberware. It's actually more mainstream nowadays for higher-up execs to have classified corpo tech that has the ability to revive them. The immortality chip, aka the relic, is unique because it's made by a revised version of Soul Killer that houses the digital construct of Johnny Silverhand. Now here's heavy spoiler time. Like, this is like heavy spoilers. Like, what happens during the Arasaka heist spoilers. So things go horribly wrong during the Arasaka heist. It doesn't take place inside the Arasaka Tower. It takes place inside the Konpeki Plaza. I think it was called Konpeki Plaza, where you could find Hideo Kojima. I don't even know how to say his name. I don't even know who he is. He made the Metal Gear series. Actually, inside the plaza when you're just chilling around. So no matter what, the heist goes very wrong for one good reason. This seems like it was Euro. I learned how to say his name, but I already forgot it because Dex says his name during the game. I'm just gonna call him Urubino again. I swear Urubino planned something insane, because I don't know how to explain it. So you're going to do the Arasaka heist, right? Then Saburo Arasaka himself comes out of hiding, pays a visit along with Adam Smasher. Like, what? 100 Jackie says it himself. Saburo Arasaka. 150 years and today's the day out of everything that he shows up. Yeah, you gotta love Jackie, dude. He's always like making jokes even when things are horribly going wrong. Especially the way he said Saburo Arasaka. So yeah, he shows up and things go very wrong. I'm not sure if T-Bug will always die, or it might depend on your choices. I'm not sure. But it seems to hint that way. But she's a smaller-ish character. Maybe there's a way to keep her alive. But Saburo... sorry. I have to say it like Jackie every single time. Saburo Arasaka dies. Remember, corporals have classified tech that can resurrect them. Which is why I said that was a light spoiler. Because I think that's going to play an integral part to the plot somewhat, to actually bring back Saburo Arasaka. Are you guys getting tired of that? It's so funny when you listen to it in a game. So we don't know how much we don't know if he actually died, but he dies as in he might get revived by his chip. Jackie gets injured. You fight your way out of the tower with the biochip, then get into the Delamain cab. When driving away, Smasher has this really cool scene where he smashes through the wall, hits the cab, and then the Delamain cab says, "Combat mode, engage," and you all drive off. You try to tell the cab to redirect you to a Ripper Dock to save Jackie because he was shot. Like, my dude was bleeding out and still making jokes about Saburo Arasaka. I don't know, he's pretty, he's definitely likable. They did a really good job in his character arc. I might make a video just for his character arc, because it's like you have to. I don't want to ruin it, but I mean I kind of did spoil him dying, but that's not really his character arc. You'd be surprised when you get into game, when you start like learning Jackie's backstory. You know he's dead when you learn his backstory, but it's really sad. It's really sad actually. But yeah, the cab can't why do I keep redirect? Why do I keep saying that? But the cab can't redirect you. Jackie dies. You're pissed. You meet Dex. He cleans house on everyone involved, you could say, because he says, "You killed the Emperor himself. Everyone that has so much as a pinky toe involved in this mess is as good as dead." He offs you, which makes sense. Like, I was always wondering, why is Dex betraying you? He's putting his fixer reputation on the line. It's because Arasaka is going to clean house, and they did. Because you survive. There's a good reason on how you survive, actually, because he'd be like, "Oh, why didn't okay, if Jackie kept that immortality chip in his head, he would have survived." So I feel so bad. But there's two reasons why you survive. Dexter Deshawn used a low caliber, which kicks the nanites in the chip to start working and repair the damage he caused. This might be a bit confusing. It's because we're dealing with like cyberpunk tech. This is literally how it's explained in game and how he survived. So sometime later, and this also explains how you can survive a lot of quest-related damage, like Placide frying you. It's because it kicks the nanites in the chip to start repairing the damage. The chip won't let you die until Johnny Silverhand's consciousness is 100% in your body. So sometime later, he's forced to pull you out of the trash by Takamura on direct... I'm sorry, I jumped the gun a bit. I could be talking about anyone. Dexter Deshawn is forced to pull you out of the trash by Takamura on direct orders of Yurabuno Arasaka. After he tells Takamura, "We need to settle this," and Takamura, like a badass, pulls out his iconic weapon and one-shots Dex. And starts taking you Yurabino to settle scores, I guess. This is the point that makes no sense. Yurabino would be the one that would be so happy that Saburo was dead. Like, he'd be the happiest one, so I don't know what's going on. It might be like one of those if you played Far Cry 4, where like the main antagonist could actually be your main friend if you just sat there and waited. I think this is similar with Yurabino. But at the same time, this is a bit of speculation, but everything I've seen other spoilers of screenshots and etc. near the end game where you're actually working with I forgot her name, but Saburo's daughter. So I feel like Yurabino might have gone off the deep end or something. I don't know. There's something with him though, because he used to be like anti-corporal, but he might be like super corporal or something now. There's just something. Maybe he's the one trying to clean house on Arasaka so he can be in charge. I just don't know. But yeah, anyways, you get ambushed by the group of exterminators, really. You're being a cleaning house. And you and Takamura pretty much have to work together to fend off and survive. Seeing that he's been betrayed, Takamura straight up saves your life, dragging you to Vic the Ripper Doc, who works on patching you up, but he increasingly gets more and more frustrated in the scenes because you're like blacking in and out of consciousness, but he keeps getting more and more frustrated and worried. When you eventually wake up, he explains to you that, as I had guessed correctly, the biochip is overriding your character V and replacing him with Johnny Silverhand. So, which means what I said about Arasaka's daughter might also be true. Her succeeding and having created a revised soul killer, which working with her might be your only real chance of saving yourself in all seriousness, because there's only so many people left in the game that can understand Soul Killer, and she's like one of the only ones, because all Cunningham's done. Even though she exists beyond the black wall, contacting her doesn't do anything. You still have to do the work to get that chip out. Anyways, when your character is being operated on by Vic, you get to see the Arasaka heist. The Arasaka, I don't know what to call it. The one where Silverhand nukes Arasaka. So you get to see it through the memories of Silverhand, and you play it out with his OP one-shot Magnum. So the entire lore was wrong that we know of. It pretty much happened very differently that night. I didn't see Morgan Blackhand like at all. It was Johnny, Spider Murphy, and Rogue. But I think Morgan Blackhand is actually gonna play a role in the end game somehow with him and Smasher. It might give you a Smasher's weakness or something, because while we didn't see him, there's something that happens when Johnny faces Smasher for the first time, because there's like a transition where you don't see what happens, but Johnny somehow makes it out alive. So I think Morgan Blackhand shows up or something. So yeah, what you get to see is Johnny, Spider Murphy, and Rogue. They went and planted the nuke at the Arasaka Tower. Well, Johnny did. Arasaka was never blamed for the nuke going off, though. It was Silverhand who published a manifesto saying he was going to take down the corpos before he went and actually did it. So how could Arasaka be blamed for it? It doesn't make sense. Johnny and Rogue part ways before Johnny uploads something to the Arasaka network. I'm still not sure what he uploaded, but he uploads something. Anyways, he starts running off and he bumps into Adam Smasher. And there's a cut between that and him escaping, so we don't know how he got out alive, which is why I said maybe Blackhand showed up and wanted to actually fight Smasher. So Johnny survives or something. So when you're escaping, like, all this takes place in like the floors of Arasaka Tower. You go back up to like the helipad to escape onto the chopper you landed. And when you're escaping, you grip Rogue's arm. She's pulling you up. Then a rocket hits the chopper, which is why I'm saying that there's a little bit of poetry going on with the game. Because one of the trailers we saw was you and Rogue getting hit by a rocket inside a chopper. It seems to be just replaying some events, really. Because that's kind of what happened with Silverhand, and I don't know, it fits so well to show us an Arasaka heist with Johnny, and then you do an Arasaka heist if you side with Johnny. It might be one of the endings. I'm sorry, it just fits narratively so well, and so many of the things I said that fit narratively so well, like Jackie's death are 100% confirmed. You can't change it. There's no choice to change it. It is what catalyzes the story, pretty much. When the rocket hits the chopper, Rogue drops you, and in comes Smasher, who shoots you with his blaster from his like arm, keeping you alive though. But I don't. That's the kind of thing that kind of makes me. I don't know. Did he like beat Morgan Blackhand down there and show up? Because even in game, it's hinted that nobody knows what happened to Morgan Blackhand. The bartender at the Afterlife says, "Yeah, Morgan Blackhand never makes up his mind whether he's alive or dead." So you get interrogated by Arasaka as Johnny. They get nothing. Then Saburo, I'm never gonna stop saying that. So Saburo comes in and says there's fates worse than death, and uses the revised Soul Killer onto Johnny. And this is where all the characters' different paths kick in. Takamura wants revenge. Silverhand wants to burn Arasaka for what they did to him. Like, he's livid. He's really, really livid in what happened to him. Which explains how he knows, like, so much. This is literally Johnny up until his entire life. Then he got soul killered, pretty much. And you want to live and get the chip out of your head at all costs. Going any further into spoilers just doesn't make sense, because this is where the game starts branching. The prologue is very linear, but when you get to branching routes, who knows what will happen, really. This is where the game really opens up. So the game's heavily hinting towards Smasher being a final boss based on how many times you actually see him. I think you see him 3 or 4 times just during the prologue. Saburo Arasaka being still alive because of how Vic mentions classified corpo attack makes sense. And Urabino playing a role in all of this because he hates Arasaka. He hates Saburo that he stole the relic. I'm not sure where that information is from. I don't exactly know, but it's on the wiki. So I'm gonna take it. It's been there for so long that I think it is true. So that he stole the relic from Saburo's laboratory, and he told Evelyn about the chip. He tries to clean house by wiping you. That's at least what I'm feeling is what's going on. It might be like the end game twist, like, oh, Saburo's alive. But then again, I don't think Saburo's daughter wants to take him out. I think Urabino wants to take him. So it's like, it's going to be a twist where, oh, the guy you've been pursuing is actually your friend. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike, you absolute heartless monster. And subscribe anyways, because Saburo will smash you with his immortality chip. I think I've legit explained everything that's important that happens in the prologue for those wondering that skipped ahead. I've also went into non-spoilery game mechanics and features that weren't really talked about for some reason. I guess one last mechanic is wanted levels. If you commit a crime, more and more coppers come after you, to put it in non-YouTube mad ways. Yeah, but they don't really come after you if you do one accidentally. If you do one accidentally, you just get a pop-up explaining what you just did and why it's wrong. You're like, oh, okay, I guess I won't do that. But there's a lot of them, at least in the Watson. Because Watson's kind of under lockdown. I think that's why. I don't know. The further you get into Watson, there's less and less stuff. It's like, who knows? Anyways, that was about it. I also love how we're 27 minutes in, but I also love how I called that Watson was gonna be hell with so many factions. I didn't see a clear faction ruling it. There were like Tiger Claws, there were Moxes, there were Maelstrom, there was the Afterlife, there was Arasaka. There were so many factions that I could tell it was going to be, kind of a fight between all the factions in that district when I called in my videos before, and that's what it is. The city, not the city, the district's under lockdown because of that. Anyways, peace of religion. I'm a genius, I guess.